Just Eff It. Hi, I'm Romy.
Hi, and I'm Carla.
And together we are the
Eff It
Madres. We are here to invite you guys into stories of some inspiring madres
who have changed their lives through an Eff It moment. So here we go.
Just Eff It.
Hi, guys.
Good morning.
Good morning. Happy Monday. We have our bucket mugs. We have, I think, our green tea right now, right? Is that what we're drinking?
I actually have a dandelion tea. This is the one I was telling you about. It's very delicious.
I'm trying to be super, super healthy. So good morning, you guys. And Motivation Monday, the Eff It Madres. Here we are. We are ready to share some really awesome stories from another amazing madre, right?
Yes. And if you are new here to our podcast and haven't listened to any of our previous episodes, I'll just quickly explain that this is a community of madres supporting madres, moms supporting moms during their Eff It moment. So they could either be in it, they could have had it, they could want it, but it's all about that transition, that really pivotal transitional moment in their lives that they decided to just say, fuck it, and make a really big change in their life. And all the women that we've interviewed so far, we commend you for those that have done it. We commend you for those that are going through it, and we commend you if you want to have it. And we're here to hear from you.
Perfectly well said. And today we have a friend of mine, a madre of mine, who when I moved out, I'm from LA. When I moved out to Austin, kind of found a little mom group. That's what we do. We kind of find our moms who we like mesh with and who we get close to. And Jen is one of those moms for me. She's also in our industry. She's a hairdresser. She's a makeup artist. She has lived in Los Angeles as well. So she worked there. We had similar friends in LA that we ended up all knowing each other out here. But she is another really strong kind of badass mom who is just, I think, at the very tip of her Eff It moment right now. So this will be really fun to kind of like hear where she's at. I'm super excited because she's been really passionate about saying fuck it.
Yeah. That's awesome. Yeah. We haven't heard a story of someone going through it aside from us, like talking about like going through it. We haven't actually spoken to someone that's like in the midst of it. So this is going to be really exciting to hear like what she's going through.
She was in the midst of it, Carla, while we were. So I was like calling her and being like, Carla and I are going for it. Like, and she was like, I love your energy. I love your, everything. And she was like, I'm going through it. And I was like, we're fucking effing it. And so it was like this, like, we're doing this, you're doing it. And I'm just like, I'm so proud of her. So I'm excited to talk to Jen Brady.
All right.
All right, guys, we have my dear friend, one of my favorite madres here in Austin, Texas, Jen Brady. Jen, welcome to the show.
Hello. Thank you. I get to sit here and talk to, one of my besties and one of her besties who I've never met in person, by the way. Besides this, I guess.
It's very fun to have like my tribe of like amazing mothers in my life because both of you are who I talk to like on the daily. So I'm feeling pretty like I'm in love with this circle right now. What it's about.
Yeah, absolutely.
So Carla, do you want to jump in and start getting some questions?
Yeah. So I know that you just had it, but what made you decide to just Eff It and why?
Well, I mean, honestly, I have been like waiting for an Eff It moment ever since, I guess it was like literally the day lockdown started. Like I've been a hairstylist, like hair and makeup, but then I've also been in the salon for 19 years. And I retired, so to speak, from the salon because I have a hair color allergy, blah, blah, blah. So it was like my last day, world shut down. And I was like, what's next, right? What am I going to do? And really, it's been that for however long ago that was, minus a month and a half now. And, I've been doing hair and makeup, here and there in between for sure. But it's just like the what, I was searching for the what. And I was like, maybe I'll do this. Thought about it, took some classes, wasn't it, but it was safe, right? I kept thinking of like these safe things that made sense that I knew I could, be good at, get better at. And then it just I let my mind go somewhere where I said, well, fuck it. If somebody else can do that, why can't I?
What was it?
So there was like a week of like the idea transitioning, and it actually started, I don't think I even told you this, Romy, with like stick and poke tattoo. I was like, oh,
You did tell me this. Yes.
okay. Yeah.
Yes.
Because it's like a thing now. And I was like, I could so do that. Like, that's ridiculous. Like, I mean, sorry to like, I'm not trying to cheapen it, but I
Own
mean,
it.
I've
Own
been an
it.
artist my whole life, and these people are mostly doing Flash. And anyways, I was like, I could do this. That'd be so fun. And in the moment when I thought that, basically I was releasing like the fear of hurting somebody, like during a process. So then I was like, well, I mean, yeah, that'd be cool, but you know, microblading always made sense. Like I have friends who do microblading, and that always like kind of made sense, seemed cool. But again, I was like, well, I don't want to hurt somebody. That seems really weird, dragging a blade through someone's skin. But I was like, but like it could be cool. So I started researching that.
Mhm.
And from there, I realized I want to do this with a tattoo gun. And from there, I thought I saw something online, and I was like, of artists that do areola tattoos for
Yep.
breast cancer survivors who have lost their areolas in their
Yep.
surgical process. And I thought that would be fucking cool. And and that was it. It was like in that moment I decided, like it's like I had already decided that week I didn't mind like dragging a needle through someone's skin. Like I kind of mentally got over that. And
Yes.
when I saw that, I was like, this is it. This is so it. This combines all of the things. Like I have always felt like I was wasting a gift because I can draw anything I see perfectly, right? And I
Mhm.
wasn't ever using that in my life, and I thought that's a damn shame. I always thought that's a shame because that's a gift,
Mhm.
And so this kind of just struck me, and that was it.
So,
That
what
was it.
specifically, though, about that, like areola, like tattooing areolas, like what exactly was it about that made you become so drawn to that? Because there's tattoos that you could do, but that's very specific. So I'm just curious why that.
Well, it's helping somebody. It's helping
Yeah.
a woman restore something that bothers her.
Sure.
And I don't know if that's the right way to say it, if that's a sensitive way to say it, but
I think when you were talking to me, Jen, and obviously tell me if I'm wrong because I'm just based on our conversations. And I think Carla, even for you and I think all of us have been in places where like we know we have certain gifts or things that we're good at or things that are there. How do we use them to do something that makes us like feel like we're doing something good for someone else?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And how does it feel like, when we were coming up with our idea of doing beauty online courses and stuff, we were like, that just feels so, it's not fulfilling. All of us can do hair and makeup. All of us could do tutorials on it and we but it doesn't fulfill. And I remember the excitement you had when you were like, I have a gift. I get to take the gift and I'm going to help women feel better, which
Totally.
essentially, Carla, is what we're doing. We are hoping that through this, women feel something better in their lives, have some empowerment back. And then Jen, remember we started talking even just about the removal of breast and putting a nipple back on, and just people having
yes
the ability to feel confident in their skin, and you being a
yeah
part of that, right?
yes yeah. I mean, one of the reasons I feel like I've loved being a hairstylist for so long is that people feel better when they leave your chair, Carla. Like I know you know that. Like
Yeah.
your job is like, our job is to be with badass women and make them feel better about themselves, right?
Yeah.
And this is like the next level times a million to me. It's it's like as intimate as it gets. I
Yeah.
mean, that's
Yes.
like pretty darn, you know?
And then you're also responsible for it.
It's like an
Well,
intimate
I
thing just to
know.
touch someone's head, let alone like,
Yeah. And you're like
touch.
this, you're close to their face, but yeah, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
But like to touch an area that has been essentially taken away due to, an illness, that's a really vulnerable, space. So that's amazing.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. I mean, talk about traumatic, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. But I
So,
mean, people have to do that. And to have, I think, like if I was in that situation, to have someone like you, a woman and your heart behind it and your reasoning,
Mhm.
I think I would feel much more comfortable.
Yeah.
yeah.
Like I want someone like us helping create that kind of confidence. And, like I think it's perfect for you and I'm excited for you. And the way you said it kind of came about where it was like similar to us. I think this is important to say because Carla, we started off with, we're going to do online courses. Well, it kind of evolves, right? As you keep going and then it lands where it's supposed to
Yes.
be. And I feel,
Yes.
right, Jen, like yours started with like some idea, but that's not where it landed.
Yeah.
Right. When it sticks at 6, I guess that's, it.
It's like when your heart, it's your heart telling you ultimately at the end of the day what it is that you should or want, what you're called to do. I think that's the
Yeah.
truth for us, and it sounds like that's for you as well. Like your heart's in it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. 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 Absolutely.
You definitely had some fire in you talking about this, like the day we had that conversation. And I know you've been looking for that. And I'm
Yeah.
sure a lot of moms, a lot of women with our kids at home, surviving the last 2 years, the world are like, what is it? How do I figure out what is it that I want? What is it that does
Yeah.
hit my heart? And I remember just talking to you that day and I was calling you about mine and I was so excited. And then you were responding with like, I am having mine and I'm so excited. And I haven't seen you light up like that. So
I
when something
know.
really like hits a woman, and a mom and we're tired and we're exhausted and we deal with all the things that we deal with. And then we get this fire in us. It's such a beautiful thing to watch other
Yeah.
moms, our friends light up.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, yes, listening to you and everything that's been going on for you lately and this what you guys have created and your fire and your confidence. I mean, like I you know, I mean, I like tear, like I genuinely tear just like watching a Marco Polo from you sometimes because because I mean, it's just the best. It makes me so happy, but it is everything. It is life. It is what we need to be better moms, to feel fulfilled, to feel like we're not just like all we do is take care of kids and
Yep.
you know, I don't know. Yeah.
I
It's like
mean,
the obsessing. Like I I look at like a new venture as like when it's right, it's like, okay, I'm going to obsess about this pretty much. Like in the best of
yes,
ways. Like, you know,
yeah.
like I
I
need
think that
that's
Carla
okay.
and I are right there with you. Like it's all we think about, it's all we
Yeah.
want.
If
Yeah.
we were getting paid for what we're doing
Yeah.
right now, we'd be making some good money right now.
Because we're so passionate about it. Like we're
Yeah.
not getting paid anything. We're just putting
Yeah.
our heart into it. But like if this were our job, like, oh my God, because this is all we want to do. And I know for you, Jen, like this is all you want to do. And
Mhm.
what you said is so key. And I'm going to go into the next question, but like we are better for our kids. We have these conversations, Jen. We are better for our kids when we are full, when we are taking care of ourselves. This seems to be a
Yeah.
common conversation we're having with
Yeah.
moms that we've been speaking to. And it's like, you can't give. What's that
No.
famous one? And I'm going to totally jack this up, but like you have to put your oxygen mask on, right? Before you give it to
No.
like the
That's
kids. You know
it.
what I
Oh,
mean?
yeah,
Yeah,
Right? Did I
yeah.
do
Put your
it?
You
oxygen
have to do
mask
you
on
first before
Yeah.
you do anybody else. Yeah.
Yeah.
You really do. But that's like so it's just true. Like if
It's
we're
just
not
true.
feeding our souls, we're not as good to our kids. We're tired,
Right.
we're unhappy, we're miserable. We're just kind of here
Yep.
we go.
Yep. And then they feel it and we feel it and we feel guilt.
What sort of lesson does that teach our kids? Like that we are not important, that everyone else is to be put before us. And that's not the case. It's really not. That's a very
No.
antiquated way of thinking. Like, I feel like that's how I grew up being taught. Like, you put everyone else before you, and if you put yourself before anyone else, you're selfish. But it's so wrong. Like, it is so wrong. So
Mhm.
yeah, we gotta take care of ourselves first so that kids can see that.
Yeah.
I
Yes.
think this is the time you're doing that. And so the next question would be, because we've asked people like, what did you do about it? And this is really exciting to ask you. What are you doing about it? When that moment kicked in, what are you doing? What are you currently doing to make that dream, that fuck it moment, actually be something that follows through?
Well, I I immediately through one of my friends was like, you got to check these people out. And I basically educated myself on machines, on
Mhm.
tattoo machines. I took a course, these are all the different ones, the types, this is good for this is good for that. And I just clicked buy. And I bought
That was us buying our microphones, Jen. Like we were like, well, that's a camera, there's a mic. Okay. Like
yeah, I just clicked buy, got the whole, got a whole setup. And then I told my good friends, I told my sister, and now, so that started when I was on vacation. So when I got home, more researching, but now I'm looking for someone to teach me.
did you find
So
somebody?
I have two maybes. One of
Two
them, I
maybe.
mean, I think one of them will work out. Yeah, yeah.
So you have to
Yeah.
apprentice. You have to apprentice under them, right? Is that how that works?
Well, the thing is, it's kind of different, and this is what I realized. At first, that's what I thought too, because like, at tattoo shops, right? That's what you do.
Yeah.
But at tattoo shops, it's kind of like a salon, Carla. Like, if you're going to assist under somebody, then the idea is then you grow to be a stylist there. And, the salon makes money off of you. But
Right.
all of these like restorative artists that I have found it's just them. It's just them by themselves. And they don't want to just teach somebody something. I mean, they're, a lot like the good ones will have proper educational classes, and they are really expensive. But and it's like what I'm seeing everywhere is it's a 3-day class. Here you go, da 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 da. And I really want to try to find something different. I do want to try to find somebody that I can work with more regularly over time. This is like a big deal.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the job you're doing is a little, I mean, now you're doing something that's like permanent, right now,
Yeah,
not makeup and hair, we can fix.
you can take off. Yeah,
Yeah.
You
yeah.
can take it
And
off. This, you're creating something that's on somebody in a very, like we said, emotional like space
right.
forever.
And it would, for the areola and stuff, and for the paramedical, like you won't learn that in 3 days, but like I mean, I will be starting with permanent makeup,
Yeah.
brows, lips, whatever, until I really have to get good at using the gun. And then that'll be like the second stage of education and practice.
I don't know how people start as like guinea pigs for that. Like that would make me so nervous.
Oh,
you know
yeah,
what I mean?
I know. Well,
Yeah.
Paul and my husband and I joke that like he's gonna have like 10 nipples all over his butt.
That's hilarious.
You're just like tattooing nipples all over him like until you get it right. Because I just can't imagine going in and being like, yeah, you're gonna tattoo my face or my boobs, and you're just learning. Yeah, like good luck.
But I mean, like they have these fake skins and silicone sheets, and like, I mean, you just
Yeah.
practice and practice and practice but still there will be a first.
Yeah.
There'll be a first. But Romy, you're gonna let me tattoo you.
You can tattoo Madres
Yeah.
on
Yeah.
I'd be down for that.
I love that.
I'd be down for that too.
Yeah.
Yes, I love that.
One more thing. Like when you said, what did you do about it? Friends and family first I talked to, and then, maybe 2 weeks later, I put it up on my stories, and I was like,
You did.
hey, yeah. And I only did it because I was like, I want to put the
To be held
energy
accountable.
out there as much as possible, like spread this energy. And you know what? 2 people wrote me after that too and were like, "That sounds badass. You inspired me." And I was like, "Well, that's a bonus." You
Yes.
know?
It
Yeah.
really it's a scary thing to like put that on, even though it's a story and it
Yeah.
disappears. It's a really scary
Yeah.
thing to put that on there because you're like saying, "Okay, here it is. Like this is what I'm
Yeah.
doing. Oh my god,"
Yeah. And
and it ends up being
yes.
great. Like people are end up being supportive for the most part.
Oh yeah, so many. Oh my gosh. Yeah. That's like it's those posts that people like really respond to and you're like, "Dang, people are paying attention out there."
Yeah.
But I
Yeah.
really only put it on
That's how
there.
we feel when people like right now, like, and that's why I said I love you, Jen. It made my day because like as a friend, it's like I know you're like I'm gonna listen, I'm gonna support my friend because like I love her. But then when you were like, oh, like it's good, like I
Yeah.
really liked it, and I was like that feels so good. You're like
Yeah.
you put yourself out there, you do it, and then it's like you get a friend or somebody who responds and is like, awesome, you guys did really good. I really liked it, and you're just like, oh, like
Yeah.
that
Like
just
really?
feels
Did you
good.
listen to the right
Yeah.
podcast?
Like, were you listening? You're like, yay! Like that felt so good. And I remember like when you posted that, I'm so happy you shared that. Thank you, because I remember that post. And I think that's really empowering to anybody who kind of is like, am I gonna do this? Am I gonna do just fucking put it up there. Just be like, I'm
Yeah.
fucking doing it.
Don't even think
Yeah.
about it. The more you think about
Don't
it,
think about it.
the more
Yeah.
you're gonna hesitate. Just fucking do it.
Just
Yeah.
fucking do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. I was like, does this look like self-absorbed? Like, does this look like weird? Is
No,
this
it's
making me?
self-absorbed.
And I'm like, Jen, like, what? Just
Yeah.
who cares? You're
Yeah.
excited about something. Share the energy.
Yeah. Because those people who are the true core people that support you will support you. And the ones that don't,
Yeah.
then fuck them.
Yeah.
Yep.
You know?
I mean, that's pretty much what Abby said on the last interview that we did, and I love that. She's like, our relationship no longer moves forward. That's
Yeah.
okay. You do you, I'll do
Yes.
me. And I
Yes.
loved that she said that because it's so true. Like, we're in a place where, like, you don't want to fucking join me on this journey. That's okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
I want to ask, because you did bring up your husband. How did he react when you decided to kind of switch gears completely, go after this, and tell him you're gonna start drawing nipples?
He was like, that's badass.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. That's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah.
Aw.
Yeah. Yeah. No matter what, if I'm excited about it, he's down and he's into it and he knows that I've been looking for something for like the in-betweens for my freelance stuff. And yeah, he was like, hell yeah, that sounds freaking awesome. I was like, hell yeah, it does.
That's great.
Yeah.
I mean, to have a supportive partner in something that you're trying to figure out, and all they care about is your happiness, and they just push you to do it. Like I'm lucky. I
Yeah.
have a husband who's like, I'm so excited for
You
you. Like,
do.
do what
Yeah.
lights you up. And I feel so bad for anyone out there who is not with
Yes.
someone that does that, because it really can keep you in that rut and it really can hold you back. But when you've got someone that's like your cheerleader, it only like you explode even further. You know what I mean? So
Totally.
that's very great that
Totally.
your
Totally.
husband.
I couldn't imagine a mom going through wanting to have that, and knowing, like we were saying earlier, that like her kids are become the priority. That's who the family's put first. And all of a sudden this mom is, which I'm sure listening, like, I want to have that or I want to do that. But her home base or her partner is like, no, no, no. I mean, that is when you are holding back you just your true self. And that's when
Yes.
like I feel like a little part of you just dies
Yeah. And you know that has to happen
all the
a
time.
All
ton.
the time.
Yeah.
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 All the time.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate.
I know.
I was going to ask you, so like, how are you feeling during all of this? I mean, this is a big change for you. So what are the sorts of emotions that are going through your head, like while you're starting this journey?
Really just energized, honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just it's lighting me up. Yeah, it honestly feels kind of simple in that way.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's yeah.
I can kind of feel that, Carla. Like, I feel like with this, like, it's just been really, I feel like when it works, right? Like, when it works, it works. And when it's meant to be, it just kind of flows. It's just simple and you want it and it does. It lights you up. I remember the first few mornings we did this. Like Carla and I were like, we were so excited. Like we just woke up different. We woke up with like a purpose.
Yeah.
Right,
Yeah.
Jen? Too. It's like it breaks that cycle of like, we're up, we're doing this, blah, 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 this is, it's like all of a sudden you just have this like,
Yeah.
And Jen, I don't know if you journal, like Romy and I, we journal a lot about the things that we want to happen. And I've been doing it for a while and nothing ever felt real until this for us, and now that I write these things, it actually feels like they're gonna happen or they're happening. So you know what I mean? So it's like it's a really empowering thing to have that sort of energy that you're saying that you feel. It's just like you look at your future and you're like, wow, it's going to be different. It's going to be great. And like, you just have that feeling because you're taking that step, So
Jen, you could join us, and like any mom listening too, because Carla brought that into my life. And I mean, I will say this. So Jen is somebody who listens to that podcast that I listen to every morning, our Big Life Devotion podcast. So we have this quick podcast, Pammy, and Pammy is very short, very quick, but that was what kind of inspired me even for this, is because Pammy, every morning, we will hear her on our drive and all of us will text each other and be like, oh my God, I'm inspired. Oh my God, did you hear what Pammy said? It's just quick and she just lights our asses up, right? So I pray that like this type of podcast too, starting the week off for our moms, like it kind of lights a little fire under their ass, or connects with them in some way, because I want to give back and do something that Pammy does for us, right? Like, Carla got me into, and we're holding each other accountable and I love it. But she was like, get your journal out. I want you to like manifest it. So basically every morning, it's kind of like our Pammy, Jen, like every morning, take that minute and say what you're grateful for and like what's going to happen. So I straight up was like, I'm grateful for this and this. I am putting it down on paper every morning, how much this is going to work. And then it's like, I feel it. I feel it.
Yes. I used to do this morning, like really short morning manifestation with a friend who was actually my agent at the time. And it was like, we would give each other a voice memo and you talked about your day as if it already happened. If that's, if that makes sense. So it's like, and then we voice memoed it to each other every morning. And so, you could encourage the other person, like you say it out loud. It was very cool.
Yeah. That's good.
As a community, let's all just like hold each other accountable.
Yeah.
And create those type of relationships or voice messages or simple, like, did you hear Pammy, or did you hear, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
It is like our tribe that keeps us all moving. And Jen and I know this because we went through pandemic together here in Austin. We've been through this stuff together. And it's like, without those Marco Polos, because sometimes that's all we get.
That's typically all we get.
That's typically all we get. I mean, we both work our butts off. We have kids, but like, I am nothing without you women. Like, I mean that. Like, I am nothing without both of you. Like, it is my like, I can't imagine my life, you know what I mean, without this type of support or this motherhood and this sisterhood and this friendship. I cannot imagine my life. And so if we can bring that for like, right, other moms.
Yeah. Because to your point, Romy, both of you was saying that, you might not have, and I mean, not having a significant other support you is kind of a whole other thing. However, people still may not have that anywhere.
Yeah.
I mean, right? Like,
yeah.
I mean, I know for
like no one, to support them.
Just depending where you are in your life. I mean, I had a long period of my life where I didn't let myself, have really, really close relationships, and I wouldn't have really shared those things. It wouldn't have felt, I don't know,
What do you think this is going to do for your family? What do you want this to do for your family and you?
I want it to make me nicer.
You want it to make you nicer? Oh, really?
I mean,
Explain
kind of.
that, Jen. Share that. Be
You know,
real, because I know what
it
you're
Yeah.
doesn't even
talking
have to
about.
explain. I think I understand as a hairdresser. I just
Yeah,
get
yeah.
what she's saying after a while. You know, you're like, yeah,
Well, it just hasn't been enough. Like I haven't been fulfilled enough in that side. I haven't had the thing that energizes me. I mean, Romy knows I get like these freelance jobs and they like light me up that day and
Oh yeah.
they carry me for another day, and then it might be 4 weeks until I get another one, and it's like, dang. So I guess my point is, I will just be a better person. I'll
Better
have more
mom,
a
better
better
wife,
mom.
better
Yeah,
friend. Yeah.
I just,
yeah, yeah.
um, yeah, and of course, bringing in something else to what I'm doing right now. I mean, added income is going to
Yeah.
be lovely
Mhm.
as
Yeah.
well.
So will you continue to still do hair and makeup on top of doing the tattooing?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's that I don't think I can ever let go of. I mean, I love it too much. But as time has gone on, it's like I get or I take, I guess, fewer but better jobs,
Right.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I have room for something else, not every day, 5 days a week, but
I think it's
yeah.
important too for anyone listening that, like, Jen, you have two boys. You have two
Hmm.
wild little boys,
Hmm.
and for all the moms that are like, oh my gosh, I have two little kids. How old are your boys?
3 and 7.
Okay, so those ages are they consume a lot, right? There's like your baseball at night, your school, things that your kids are going through, that whole dynamic. And on top of having two boys, you're fucking going for something totally new and
Hmm.
willing to take on something totally new and learn something. And I think that's what a lot of moms like. They're like, I can't. I have the kid, like it's a
Yeah,
lot, but like
yeah.
you're doing it. I was telling Carla, I can't wait to look back in a few months and see your work and be able to show your work and show moms like she fucking did it, you know? She
Hmm.
fucking did it, and she's happy, and this is where you can go and get your, work done by her, but there's nothing really to hold us back, right?
Yeah, yeah. And there as moms, there could be all sorts of things that you have to work out if your effort moment has to do with your career, because it obviously doesn't. It could be moving, like
Mm-hmm.
the last podcast that you guys just
Yeah.
did, or the one before. But if it does have to do with your career, I mean, there are family discussions, and you might have to figure out how to shift things, but you got to stand up for yourself, you know, and
Yeah.
let it see the importance, feel the importance, and make it happen.
Yes.
Do you have any fears in thinking of doing this?
Um, my fear, yeah, I mean, my fear is losing momentum, honestly.
Mm.
Like, I know that um, for me to do something like this, I need to keep my energy, and not to say that we don't have days where
Sure.
we aren't, where
Yeah.
it's not there. Not saying that, but like
Yeah.
overall, um, that's yeah, that's the only thing I really think of, because I'm like, oh, what if I don't find a place to work? Oh, what if I? But I've learned that those things just, you keep pushing, they work themselves out.
Yeah.
You know, like,
Hmm.
I feel like at this point, I know that to be true.
Well,
Yeah.
that's what Carla said with us. And when we started this together, and again, it's scary to go into one business with a friend. We all know that. That's a scary
Hmm.
decision to make. This is your best friend. This is someone you love. We're going to go into business together. Oh my God. Like, please don't let this
Hmm.
ruin our friendship, right?
Hmm.
There's a
Totally.
lot of fears that come into place. And I think, Carla, that was one of ours. That was like our main thing, just like very clear communication and honesty as we go through this, because our
Hmm.
friendship is first.
Hmm.
But then it was the fear, Jen, of what you said, where it's like, we're doing this. So if I'm on the path of doing this, and then Carla's just kind of like, it's not going anywhere. I'm kind of done. I'm out. Or Carla's like we're doing this. I'm still with them. We're getting through this. Like we're pushing, and I kind of lose momentum. That's the fear. For me too, is that we have to keep pushing until those goals succeed, until it happens.
Yep.
And when we don't see that instant gratification, it can be very like, oh my God, what am I doing?
Demoralizing.
You know?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It is. It's like we're putting all this work, all this energy, and nothing's really. But this is that time, I think, for all of us, and where we're at, and our ages, and we're like, we don't have time to just give up on it.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think when it comes to an effort moment, having to do with career, though, it's really accepting the fact that it's going to take time. And it's a hard thing when you start over after you've worked for many years in a specific area to not be at a level that you were at. Like you're starting over as like the bottom.
Yeah.
You know, it's very humbling, and it's very difficult, and you want it to just move, but you have to accept. Like I told Romy, this is probably a 2 to 5 year thing for us. Like we have to just keep going, you know? And for you, like you got to learn your skill, you've got to practice and practice and practice, and you've got to find where you're going to be, and that's going to take time, and mistakes and failures are going to happen, but you just have to be okay with that. Like if you're not, then you're gonna have a really hard time. It's like the whole thing with it's like surrendering, you know, the whole topic of surrendering. You just have to surrender to what's gonna be and just keep working towards your goal.
Yeah. It's like what could stop you from having the effort moment in the first place is just that doubt. So in the process, right? Okay, this is taking forever. Is this supposed to happen? Is this for me? Am I good enough at this? Is this really, you know, it just kind of carries throughout. And
and it's those questions and it's those doubts that we are going to see the give up point and the failure part, which failure is okay. It's like Carla and I said, failure is okay. If you get back up and you start again and you learn something from it, that effort moment wasn't just a waste. It brought, you know, it got you somewhere else. But if that specific effort moment really is to succeed, and I think for all of us, and you girls being like people in my life, it's like encouraging one another to like keep that momentum, even when it's like the day to day, we're not getting paid, it's taking forever, it's not, you know, we won all of it, we're writing it down. It's like encouraging one another. Do not give up. It's what you want. It's what you wanted. It's what lit you up. And the only time something really happens and people get to those moments, because we've been listening to moms who've gotten through those moments, right? And did it. They did it. And what did it do for them? It's, well, we have to do it. We have to go through it. But I didn't think about that for you, Jen, too, where you're going, you're one of the best makeup artists, one of the best hairdressers. You've done this forever. You've mastered your craft. And then now you are putting yourself in a vulnerable place. Like, I didn't think of that, Carla, to like be brand new at something and not be at that level. People are afraid of that.
Yeah. You have to put your ego aside.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. And not say, I'm too old for this shit.
Right.
I'm too old
to
start over.
Never
I'm too old to be, but you're not. Yeah.
This age that we are all, you know, around, this age, like, again, people are like, oh, it's never too late. That needs to be really like pushed, because so many moms feel like they hit this kind of this chapter and it's like, well, I didn't do it. So I missed my chance.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And here we are, all women, 39 to 40, like literally going after something absolutely like Carla and I are like, we're going to do a podcast. We are like fucking 40 years old. We're going to make a podcast, okay? And we're going to fucking do it right. And then Jen's over here like, I'm going to fucking get a tattoo gun. I'm going to start fucking tattooing nipples and helping women. And like, you know, like, it doesn't fucking matter.
No.
Because, and that's so cool, is that we're all just doing it.
Yeah.
We are all three like in the motion of doing it.
Yeah.
And for any moms listening who are sitting there listening, driving, whatever it is, I hope that you realize,
You can do it too.
any age.
Yeah, any
any
age. Because you're bringing all of your years of experience. I mean, I'm so
Yeah.
confident that I can be there in that space with women because I spent 19 years behind the chair,
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
talking to women intimately and listening and, having that soft heart and tearing
Yes.
for a stranger. Like, it could be a
Yeah.
first time client who tells me something beautiful and I'm like, oh God, I'm going to cry.
Yeah.
Like, but
Yeah.
yeah, you're bringing your experience. You're not just starting something new. You're bringing all you got, and
I like that.
that's unique, and that's priceless. No, lots of layers of beautiful
I
life.
mean, I think that's why Carla and I can kind of tap into these things and hear these stories, right? Because Carla's been listening to people in her chair. She's gone through her own experience. We have a little bit more life in us now.
Yeah.
We have so much life in us and so many chapters in us and different levels of empathy. And all of us have worked in beauty and hair. So we've heard people's
Right.
stories. We've been intimate with people. We're in those situations. And so, again, what better place for Carla and I to kind of take that and tune it into something different artistically
Yeah,
that's
heck yeah.
still that type of dynamic. And same for you, Jen. You're taking something that you do, but you're shifting it into a different place on the body, a different experience with that person, but
Yeah.
again, an intimate thing, and I love that thought. So thank you for saying that like we have all these years and all this stuff that we're bringing that now like is a
Yeah.
part of it, because I didn't even like really wrap my head around that, and it's so true.
Yeah.
Mhm. Yes.
We're wiser.
Yes,
We're
yes,
not
girls.
older.
Yes.
Yes.
We're
Yeah.
wiser.
We're
Yeah.
wiser.
My last big question too would be then, what advice would you give to anybody that is, I want to say like wanting it,
Yeah.
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 Yeah. Like I would say to let your mind wander, right? If you want to have the moment, you don't know what the heck to do, you just aren't, you're coming up with blanks. Let your mind wander to places that you don't let it go, right? So maybe we're putting ourselves in a box like, okay, this is me, these are my possibilities. Those are those people, and that sure looks really cool, but like, I mean, that's not for me. That's not like something I
Right.
could do or I would do, right? It's you just have to bust the box and you can do anything. I mean, when the tattoo gun thought first came in my head, I was like, yeah, I mean, tattooing seems like really freaking badass, but like that's not for me. Like I'm not like a freaking badass. Like why would I think that I could do that? And then I said F it. So that's
Yeah.
You're like,
and
F it, I am a fucking badass. I'm going to buy a
yeah,
tattoo
I was
gun
like,
and I'm
I
going to
can
do this.
be. Yeah, yeah.
Yes.
So yeah, let your mind wander outside of the possibilities that you tend to constrain yourself to. Just think massive. It can be whatever, you know?
Mm-hmm.
I love that. Carla, I feel like when we started this, that was something that like you had to do, right? Because like you thinking of you speaking or being in a public type like like that wasn't something you felt like
No.
you could do.
Yeah, if you watch the first episode, like Romy and I might look like each other, but we're so different. Like you are the
So
person
different.
that's like out in like public facing. I am not. So this is definitely that's what I've had to really like say, fuck it, I have to not care about that. Like I just have to just stop caring.
Mhm.
And I think when I hit that
Mhm.
fuck it moment, I did. Like I really don't care anymore.
You did.
So it is quite
Yeah.
liberating.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Yeah.
It is. And it's going to be fun to watch. And it has been like Carla come out of her skin, get comfortable, which you totally are. It just starts to become natural. It's going to be fun to watch you, Jen, start like feeling like a badass and like using your gun and like doing your work. And I think that's so big. It's like, same for me though. And I want to just tap into this last bit is because Jen, like there are so many times we'll be going through life and like I'm stressing or I'm crying or I'm this. And it's like you almost need your friends to remind you you're a badass.
Yeah.
You're
Yeah.
a badass.
Yeah.
What are you doing? You're talking to me in a way, which I've done for like the last few years, Jen, and to Carla, where it's like, oh, I want this and I can't have this and it's this and my life is this and like, why is this happening? And like, just this like, I don't even know the word for it, but it's like, when do you get to that moment where you're like, you can be that? Like, your guys' voice to me is, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah.
You're all those things.
And what
Go
do I
be that.
usually say to you? I'll say, Romy, these are my words. This is what I'll give my I'll wrap it up in like a good one-liner and I'll say,
Yeah.
write that shit down. Write that shit
Yes.
down, Romy, and put it on your
Yes.
fucking mirror. Put it on your
Yes.
mirror and you read it every day and you believe it.
Yes, and I do, and I have shit all over my fucking mirror because I got to write it down. And I remember one time that like you said something to me, and I haven't even saved in my notes. And I remember you said, "Save that in your notes for me, please." And when I come back to this space,
Oh, I
you remember?
did. Yes.
You were like, "Remind
Yes.
me of my words."
Yes.
It's like
Yes.
that type
Yes.
of like voice we have for one another. It's getting to that voice where we believe it. So I'm in a space right now where I can actually, for the first time, be like, I am a fucking badass. I have a lot to offer and I'm going to be successful. I am not going to struggle anymore. I have a talent and a gift and I'm working really hard for something and I deserve, just like anybody else that I see who has it, who I think I don't get to be what they are. I'm not going to have what they are. No, I deserve it.
Right.
Yeah.
You deserve it. We all deserve it. And I think, Jen, you having that moment of like, oh, they can do it. And, I can't. It's like you did hit that spot too, where you were like, I'm a fucking badass and I'm going to fucking tattoo nipples.
Yeah. Your Instagrams or anything that you want people to follow on your behalf or for you business wise.
Your journey. Yeah.
Yeah. My professional Instagram is Jen Brady ATX. And that's ATX. Yeah.
And we'll put it up after this too, so people can see it and follow you. And will they be able to follow your work that you're doing now through that page?
Yeah. So all of my hair, makeup, editorial stuff like that is on that page right now. And
Just Eff It.